That was a thing. Hello, everyone. I'm Colin Vulcanet. I am your role booth operator for tonight. And this is Ballad of the Garbage People, a Star Wars campaign with some lovely garbage players. Tonight, we are doing a bit of a transitional episode. Over these past couple weeks, the general feeling has been that Edge of the Empire as a game system is not fitting well. On my end, there are a lot of really cool bits and bobs that don't work super well with like a 2/3 hour format. The non-standard dice mean we have to go through a third-party roller to sort of access. It's not exactly what we need, and it's not servicing the kind of themes that I'm looking for in this game. So we decided to switch to something else. In this case, we are switching to Stars Without Number, revised edition. It's the latest edition of an RPG by Kevin Crawford. That is a update, retro clone, kind of backwards compatible system to OD&D, like basic Dungeons and Dragons. I love Kevin Crawford as a designer, and I think it's really cool. So for tonight's episode, we're going to start by I'm going to discuss the system a little bit to get everyone on the same page, and we're going to try and rebuild the characters that we already have, just with a new system. Before we get to that, let's introduce our players as usual. Let's go around the clock to like 2:30, 3 o'clock. We've got Bag of Snails. Who are you?
I'm the guy putting his hair up and was afraid we were going to call on him at that exact moment. Into the man bun. I'm Manny, aka Bag of Snails, your resident man bun wearer, and I'm playing Herc, the space whale man. He's a Hurlick bounty hunter, who hunts bounties and murders people a lot, and has an affection for plants.
Nice. Just below you, we have the other role booth operator who's doing all the tech stuff behind the scenes, and we're super grateful for, Marcy.
Hi, everybody. My name is Marcy. I'm the other half of the Phantom Role Booth, and I play Dash Corrigan, how do I put this? Imperial Flight School dropout, who has ended up in a very rough situation. Rough place.
And to your left, we have Rachel.
Hi, everyone. I'm Rachel. I'm playing our resident clone and sniper wife, Kess, who fights people with her guns and doesn't acknowledge her feelings.
The ideal player in many respects. And last but not least, we have Skyra.
Hey guys, I'm Skyra. I'm playing Loka, who's a garbage Twi'lek. She likes to make weird inventions out of stuff that she salvages. And
Nice.
Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
Sometimes it doesn't, yeah. Right. So let's talk about Stars Without Number. So as I mentioned before, Star Wars Without Number is a game by Kevin Crawford, and is part of the OSR, Old School Renaissance movement. The first edition was almost literally basic D&D, like one of the first editions published, with all the serial numbers filed off and some things switched around to make it space appropriate rather than, Swords and Sorcery. Second edition diverges a bit, but at its heart, it still is that old school D&D. The main task resolution that you've got are combat checks, skill checks, and saving throws. And I'll talk a little bit about those as they come up in character generation. But for now, what we're going to do is we're going to build the characters live in front of you. As I talk through the character generation steps, all the players are going to be like making decisions and stuff, and I might ask some prompting questions to explore not just the mechanics of these characters, but their internal lives, what they're feeling, what they're struggling with. So let's start with the absolute first thing. Because it is based off D&D, we have 6 attributes, and most role players, even if they've never played D&D, I feel like they could still probably name the attributes. All of you are going to roll 3d6 6 times, and then you're going to assign those 6 scores that you get to the different attributes. Alternatively, I can give you a standard array, and after you've done all of that, you get to change one of your attribute scores to 14. So you're absolutely guaranteed to have one of your attributes at 14, but otherwise you're going to roll for them. Make sense?
Yep.
Cool.
Rolled for mine right before we started with
Yeah.
almost the
I
standard
did-
array, but
yeah.
since we got
I
to
was
roll
gonna
for
say.
it, changed my 3 to a 14.
Nice. See, there you go. What I like about this system, this way of doing it, is that one, rolling for attributes I think is always fun, especially if you don't have a character already. It can lead to some unexpected results. In this case, we're sort of trying to retrofit with characters, and that's where getting to assign a 14 just to anywhere is a nice way to add in the player choice. It's not like you're randomly generating a character that you then have to live with. You get to decide, okay, here's at least one thing that I know and want them to be good at. The other reason I think rolling is fun is because it's descriptive, but mechanically it's not the end-all be-all. In later editions of D&D, you get your attribute modifiers can be anywhere from like -5 to +5 for 5th edition, right? In Stars Without Number, the most you'll ever get is +2, and that's if you have an 18, the highest possible. And likewise, if you got a pretty low score, it's going to be like a -1. It's not a huge deal. It still matters, but it's not going to tank, your ability to do anything productive.
All right. As somebody who cut their teeth on D&D in 3.0 and 3.5, you're breaking my brain a little bit.
So I love to talk about this. I actually really enjoy the sort of historiography of D&D. The reason it didn't matter before 3.5 is because Gary Gygax was an insurance actuary, and most of the design of his game really does feel like it came from an insurance actuary. Your stat array is supposed to be representative of a bell curve. And so it makes sense that even many adventurers still fall within that large part of the bell curve, and the outliers are outliers. They're getting an 18, 3 6s on 3d6. Later, they sort of threw out the bell curve with 3.5 and 5th edition and 4th edition, so on. But initially, that's where it came from and why we roll 3d6, because 3d6 is a very good bell curve distribution. The more you know.
So I did mine, and I rolled really well. So
Nice.
With my real life die, because my real life dice.
Nice. That's cool. That's always fun, and also can make sense fictionally, given that Kess was like a clone. It's like designed to be good at things.
Yeah.
Scientifically designed to be good at things. So does everyone have their stat arrays, and is everyone starting to plug them in the different places?
I'll need to do it. And you said it's 3 6?
3d6. Yep. Not straight down the line. We're not crazy.
You're not sadists.
We're not sadists or mad. I mean, I would love to do the meat grinder of like DCC. that where you start with 4 level 0 characters, and whoever survives to the first dungeon is your character. But
That
no,
doesn't
we're not
sound
doing that
insane
here.
at all.
I have terrible stats.
It's okay because later in character generation, you're going to be able to bump these up a little bit. But for now, to contextualize the results you may have, if your score is 3, it's a -2 modifier. If it's 4 through 7, it's a -1 modifier. If it's 8 through 13, no modifier. They only really matter within that group if you're comparing. It's like if 2 people both have a dexterity with no modifier, then it will matter whose is higher. 14 through 17 is a +1 modifier, and if you, against all odds, got an 18, that's a +2 modifier. So.
They're 14.
I only have -1s and 0s.
Oof.
Really? I
Yeah,
mean, 0. Well, you should have at least one 14. You get to replace any one of your scores with a 14.
Oh, yay. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that, or else I would literally have one of these.
Yeah.
Not. Yeah.
But yeah, I got like 3 11s, 8, a 7, and a 5.
What else, Luke is?
I mean, that's pretty close to the standard array.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That is pretty close to the standard array.
Like, I am choosing not to use my replace 14 because if I did that, I'd have 3 +1s, and that doesn't feel fair.
Do you do? I mean,
No, it's fine. Do
again,
it.
No,
Yeah,
I
you
like
are
to
buff
nerf
sniper
myself.
wife. You're buff sniper wife. Like,
I
Do
like
it.
Do
to.
it.
Okay, I'll do it because you're peer pressuring me.
Yes.
Yay. Peer pressure.
I do have to ask. We have a Tom for DCC in chat right now. Is that a reference to the DCC system, or is it another acronym that I'm unaware of? Yeah, I'm like, why aren't they answering? It's like, oh, right, there's why, right? So you all have general ideas of where your attribute scores are, and you can switch these up as we go along. Don't feel super tied with them yet. The next step is we're going to pick backgrounds, and we'll go around, and each of your characters is going to choose a background. When you choose a background, you're going to get some skills for free at level 0. There's a distinction in the system between having no training whatsoever and level 0, where if you don't get a mechanical bonus, but you have training in it. And the reason is if you have no training in something, it's like a -2 penalty to your rolls to do that thing. So at the ground floor, you're not getting a +1 bonus to your rolls, but you have training in it. So let me go ahead and scroll to the backgrounds. We have barbarian, clergy, courtesan, criminal, dilettante, entertainer, merchant, noble, official, peasant, physician, pilot, politician, scholar, soldier, spacer, technician, thug, vagabond, and worker. And each of these gives you a free skill, and it'll do a couple other things for you as well, but we'll get into those once we start picking. Does anyone know which of those backgrounds seems like it fits for? Okay, yeah, it is to Dungeon Crawl Classics. Yeah, it's been on my to-do list for a while. I really want to try DCC. So, Tom for DCC. Maybe one day we have you on the roll booth and you can run us through a meat grinder funnel, and that'll be fun. Sorry. Does anyone have a background that they are drawn to for their character?
I chose soldier, so
Soldier makes sense.
It says that soldier is also like mercenaries,
Mhm.
and that seemed more like a bounty hunter than a thug to me.
Okay. So for free, you automatically get any of the combat skills at level 0.
Any of them or just one?
Any
One of
one.
them. You choose any one of them, and you'll get at level 0 that. Yeah. So we got 2 soldiers. Does pilot seem good for dash?
Probably. Yeah, that sounds about accurate.
Probably. And after that, then it's the final question is just of Loka. Technician stuck out there, but I can also see like Spacer as someone who like lives in space. Vagabond, depending on how trashy you want Loka to be.
I'm thinking probably technician because
Okay.
she was still fairly young when she ended up at Odo's. So
That's fair. Yeah.
most of her adult life, all of her adult life has been spent at the refuse agency.
Okay. Okay. Now, so that tells you under your entry, it'll tell you what free skill you get. Now you have a choice. One, you can choose some skills from the list that it gives you called learning, or you can roll for it. Ignore for now the table that says growth, but you get to choose 2 or roll twice.
So I already did a lot of this earlier
That's all right.
because I like to do things. So for my combat skill, I chose shoot.
Hmm.
And then for my 2 additional skills, I chose sneak and notice.
Okay, that's interesting. So, like, does Cass like to shoot? Is that a thing that just
Well,
a little bit, right?
I mean, it's the only thing she's good at. So
Question.
Mm-hmm.
What is exert in this system?
Let me pull up. Oops, I'm scrolling the wrong way. So exert is, think of like athletics, like running, jumping, climbing. It has more to do with the physical endurance part than necessarily the like skill at it. Like, I probably wouldn't use it for balancing on a wire, but I would use it for like holding onto a wire for several hours. Does that make sense? It's a very much like how fit you are, not necessarily how trained in fitness you are, but just like how well you've kept your body.
I have the description right here if you want me to read it out specifically.
I actually just read it, but
okay.
yeah. Apply trained speed, strength, or stamina in some feat of physical exertion. Roll to run, jump, lift, swim, climb, throw, and so forth. You can use it as a combat skill when throwing things, though it doesn't qualify as a combat skill for other ends. So, for example, when I said you get to choose one combat skill, you couldn't choose exert, even though there is an application in combat.
And then notice is like perception.
Yeah, that's a solid read of it.
So then I will choose exert and notice.
So, sorry, can you tell me again how many or which lists to pick?
You can choose or roll for 2 skills on the learning list.
Okay. Yeah, definitely fix and notice, I think.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And Marcy.
Sorry, I'm still
Oh, I linked it in our Discord.
I know I Sorry,
No worries. That's quite all right. One of the best things about Stars Without Number is that the base game is released for free. Kevin Crawford gives you so much. Like it's not even a demo. It's like a full game. The only thing he withholds are like some special rules for like giant mechs and like virtual intelligences and shit. It's very stunningly generous, especially when you follow his development notes and stuff. I followed when he was writing it, and he would post about it in like his subreddit and stuff. And I get why he gave it away for free, but I'm like, oh my gosh, this is absurdly generous. I love it. No, really.
It,
Did anyone
Yes.
choose to roll? Because if you roll, you don't actually roll twice for learning. You roll 3 times, choosing between growth and learning. Interesting.
Oh.
Yeah, and you want to if you want to do that, it will give you an opportunity if you roll for it to increase your attributes. Like it might say +2 physical, and that means you have 2 points to bump one of your physical attributes: strength, dexterity, constitution.
So how would I roll for?
You have 3 rolls, and you would either roll a d6 on the growth chart or 1d8 on the learning chart.
Oh,
But
well, then
you get stuck with it whatever you rolled.
then can I retroactively, after Marcy's done, go back and roll instead?
Absolutely no,
and-
you can't.
And
That's not what we're about here.
and I apologize.
This is Twitch, not YouTube. There are rules here.
So what is the difference between? Sorry.
Growth is the only way to get a attribute increase. Learning is just skills, I believe.
Oh, I see. Can I divide them up, or do I have to choose one or the other?
You can divide them up, so you can be like, I'm gonna roll twice on growth, or just do one at a time.
Okay.
Rolling.
One at a time. I'll start with growth. That gets
Yeah, give us some delicious rolls.
These are scrumptious, but I don't know if they count. All right, I got a 3.
Okay, so you get +2 physical for your first roll.
I like.
Mm-hmm.
I think. Now, what does that mean? +2 physical.
So that means you have 2 points to increase any of your physical attributes.
Awesome.
So you could add 1 to strength and 1 to constitution, or 2 dexterity, so on and so
Okay,
forth.
great. I'll do another one in growth.
+2 mental.
And then I'm going to do. Let's do. Yeah, I like growth. I don't like learning. Another 2 to.
Okay, so of those things
That's
you
good.
rolled, you get to choose 2 of the results. So yeah, you get +2 physical, +2 mental,
All right.
or +4 mental.
Now, asking for a friend, if my character were to have force powers, what would that key off of?
I think I'm like 80% sure that I'm 90% sure it's wisdom.
Can we look at that?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm scrolling through right now. Where's the psychic section? Psychic, here we go. Psionics, here we go. Let's talk about psionics.
Just brief. Sorry, 2 retroactive rolls.
No, it's okay.
Right.
Actually, Snails can do that as I'm looking this up.
Oh,
He's
yay.
very organized.
Yay. I got what I wanted.
Ooh, you can increase like 2.
That's yeah, I got 4 points to put in physical. That's where I'm going. The question is, do I have an 18 in strength, or do I increase my constitution?
Ooh,
Oh,
they
that is
both
a rough.
have-
I could see her in both of those.
16 is pretty good.
Yeah, the
Um,
system.
Well, yeah. You know what? I'm gonna go Super Beef Boy Herc.
Beef
Put in all 4 points of
boy.
strength,
Beef
and we have a +2
boys.
bonus strength.
I gave
Okay.
Loka a pretty strong constitution on account of that whole Twi'leks have 4 stomachs and can basically eat whatever.
See, my problem, I just don't like the Constitution stat, so it always ends up being my dump stat, and I always end up with super squishy characters.
Yeah.
Okay, it looks like the two stats that are important to psychics in the system are Constitution, which is what determines your system strain. That's sort of your non-physical hit points
Okay.
of sorts, and Wisdom. Wisdom is what lets you push your psychics to the limit.
Okay.
It's called burning. We'll get into that more, but having a higher wisdom is helpful for that.
Okay.
Cool. All right. So everyone's got their backgrounds. Everyone's got their background like skills or bonuses, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
Okay. Now we choose class. There are three. Well, not actually. There are 4 classes. Classes are relatively light packages. They truly don't impose as much mechanically as something like 5th edition, where it determines sort of the advancement path of your character for the rest of the game, unless you multi-class. Instead, they sort of give you 1 or 2 really special abilities, but that's more or less it. The 4 classes are Warrior, who is combat person, Expert, who is non-combat person, Psychic, go ahead and guess what they do, and then Adventurer, who mix and matches from the other ones. So someone who's like sort of psychic and sort of combat focused, or sort of non-combat focused and sort of combat focused. They are not as specialized, but they are more varied. So don't jump immediately to one, and we'll talk a little bit about what each class is like. So what a class is going to do is the first thing, it's going to give you some special skills. It's going to like give you a couple more skills. The Expert, for example, you gain 1 free level in a skill, any non-combat skill related to your background, any of them bumps up by 1. So it would go from nothing to 0 or 0 to 1. Once per scene, you get to just re-roll a failed skill check and take the new roll. And whenever you level up, you're going to get a little more to spend in your non-combat skills as well. So all about the skills. The downside, of course, is you don't get a bonus to your attacks, and you don't get a particularly high hit points. The Psychic, you're the only one who can use psychic powers. That's sort of like a big thing for you. You get to choose 2 psychic skills as bonus skills. So you can either choose 2 at level 0 or pick 1 as level 1. And if you want to do that, that's fine.
Okay.
If you're a psychic, you have what's called effort, and this is what you use when using psychic abilities. In other respects, they're very much like the Expert. They're not particularly tough, and they don't have a good attack bonus, but they're psychics, so it's fine. Or, I'm sorry, Force users in this, because this is Star Wars. Warrior, you
Don't be
get...
ridiculous, Colin.
It's true. Warrior, you get a free combat-related, ability. There's the big one. You can just turn a failed attack into a successful one once per scene. If you miss, oops, I hit. I'm a warrior. Like, I'm good at that. You also get just buku hit points, and you get bonuses to attack. Pretty straightforward. There's not a whole lot there to super worry about. And then the adventurer sort of splits the difference between any, depending on if you want them to be partial expert, partial psychic, partial warrior, etc. So with that said, what is everyone thinking for their character? Probably like an expert for Kess, right?
Well, I chose warrior actually because for all those damage bonuses.
Right, because the shooting, yeah.
Because that's what she's the expert in, right? An expert in murder and death.
Okay, yeah, no, I was just like, I thought it was going to be like biochemistry and possibly like intergalactic politics. That's
what they teach in clone school. Those are the most important topics to cover.
I feel like in clone school, in clone school, the like politics class was just like, this is what the guy who tells you who to kill looks like. This is his uniform. Just memorize that a bunch. This
is the emperor. We love him, and he's never done anything wrong ever in his life.
Very, very North Korea. This is our glorious leader. Okay, so Cass, you're a warrior. As a warrior, I went through what you get. Who's next? Who else has a decent idea of what class they want their character to be?
I was thinking Loka might be the expert.
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah, particularly good at what it is that she does, even when it's weird and people question it.
Especially when it's weird and people question it.
Yeah. Don't worry about it. It's like totally for a good reason.
Okay. So you're going to get a free level in a non-combat focus. And the only difference between expert and warrior is expert gets a non-combat focus, warrior gets a combat focus. We're going to get to focuses later. They are special abilities. They aren't skills. They are like specific things that you can do.
Okay.
If you're a diplomat, healer, a star spare, like we'll get to the specifics of that. So for now, just make note that you get a free level in a non-combat focus if you're an expert, or in Kesta's case, a combat focus.
Okay. It's like throw Tinker on there. Because I've not even read any of them. I'm still pretty sure.
That's the best way to do it. Is like, don't even read the rules. Just go by.
Yeah, like I can like after the rules. Something
I'm actually not like joking. It's one of the things I think of when I'm looking at an RPG is like, how well does it describe its own stuff? Because if an ability is like die hard, you'd think it makes a character like tough to kill and like really like physically durable. But if it then mechanically doesn't do that, I'm like, I'm looking at you, system. You did something wrong. So that's just, I'm a fan of like, just pick what sounds right. If it isn't right, we can change it.
It sounds right, and then when we get to there, I can read it, and if it doesn't sound right, I'll pick it.
Exactly. What about Dash and or Herc?
I'm a little torn, but I think I'm gonna have to lean into warrior.
Warrior. Okay.
Just because looking, I did kind of scroll ahead to look at the foci while you were talking, and I'm seeing, and Die Hard and Unarmed Combatant kind of stuck out to me. So I'm going to, I think I'm going to lean into warrior. Just nice. Even if I would want him to be able to do other things, you got to be able to punch good.
That's fair. And Dash is a psychic. They're force sensitive, or are they partial psychic?
That's
with the adventure?
So I make a lot of jokes about like maybe too many jokes about just being able to lift burritos to his mouth. But that's not what I think of. But I actually really appreciate this system because it's harder to do what I wanted to do with him in Edge of the Empire or even Force and Destiny. which is like when I think of a force-sensitive pilot, I kind of imagine them jumping into skin for a second to see what they're doing in the cockpit. Like that's honestly how I always sort of pictured Dash, but it was never actually attainable
Sure.
in Force and Destiny. So telepath is gonna go with here.
All right, and that's going to be a
That's the
psychic with
non-joke
the
answer.
telepath
That's where
focus.
the lifting burritos with his mind came from, because I was like, well, I'm never gonna get to do what I want to do anyway. But it's
I can't say that I'm gonna miss the burrito mouth
he's
power.
still gonna try, but he's Corellian, and they're famously bad at telekinesis. So
That's true. Okay. All right. So everyone's chosen a class, I think, and
but he can
made
make
note of-
everyone think that he lifted a.
There
Okay.
you go.
Yeah, that's super
All right.
Incredibly impressive.
All right, so let's talk about the focuses. These are roughly analogous to like a feat in 3.5 or 5th edition. Each focus comes in 2 levels, sort of like dipping your toe in and getting elbow deep in that specific kind of focus. You were looking at close combatant or unarmed. What was the one that? Let's start with Cass, because Cass has a very clear idea of
Yeah.
what that character is, and helpfully, the system is not getting in Rachel's way, I think.
No, I read it and I was like, okay, I've got this. So because of the warrior background, I get a free level in a combat related focus, and then
Mhm.
I read forward and it also gave me another foci. So I picked sniper and assassin for
right.
those foci.
And so you're going to get both of those at level 1.
Yeah.
Unless you took the same one twice, then it'd be level 2, but otherwise it's going to be level 1. And later, as you advance, your character will level up in these. So tell us about sniper and assassin.
So sniper says that I'm an expert at placing a bullet or beam on an unsuspecting target. The special benefits only apply when I make an execution attack with a firearm or bow, which is detailed later on in the book.
Mm-hmm.
But at level 1, I gain a shoot as a bonus skill. So that I think it gave me another level when I took that,
Yes.
right?
If you already have shoot at level 0, it bumps up to level 1.
Yeah, so I did that. And then when making a skill check for an execution attack or shooting, I roll 3d6 and drop the lowest die.
Okay. And while everyone's looking at focuses, I'll talk a little bit about, I think this is a good place to talk about the central resolution mechanic. You're only ever going to be rolling, when resolving stuff, either a d20 or 2d6. You roll d20 for combat things. If you're making an attack roll, you roll 1d20, you're adding your skills, whatever circumstantial modifiers, and trying to beat a target defense number on the opponent. If you're making a saving throw to avoid something, you're going to be rolling 1d20 and trying to get equal or higher than what's listed for your saving throw. We'll get a little bit more into saving throws later. Skill checks are 2d6 though. And what's important about this sniper feature is an execution attack is when you have like 10 minutes, like I think it's actually a minute or so, to set up a shot against a target that doesn't know it's coming. The game goes, let's put hit points aside for a second, because shooting someone in the head is shooting someone in the head. And instead you make a skill check, not an attack roll. So snipers, if they get that execution attack, if they get the time and the leisure to set up their shot, there's a very good chance that they're going to blow someone's head off. Mm. And I feel like that's exactly what Rachel wants for.
That is exactly what I wanted.
All right. Tell us about assassin.
So assassin says you are practiced at sudden murder and have certain
sudden
advantages.
Murder, not just like.
Yeah.
So like murder in general, just like. I love this character so much.
That's just an oopsies.
Cass Brightside, more like Cass Whoopsie over here.
I've never killed anyone on accident. Let's just say that.
Herc is like, me neither.
I kill people all the time, and it's never on accident.
On purpose, even.
Yeah, so it says I'm practiced at sudden murder and have certain advantages in carrying out an execution attack. And then on level 1, I gain sneak as a bonus skill. I can conceal an object no larger than a knife or a pistol from anything less invasive than a strip search. And then it says including high-tech weapon detection devices. And then it says I can draw or produce this object as an on-turn action, and my point-blank range attacks made from surprise with it cannot miss the target.
That is big. That's another thing I like about this system. It's not going to nickel and dime you. It's not going to like slow trickle cool stuff. It gives you like 1 or 2 really cool things that your character can do. And in this case, like you can smuggle these weapons through even like scanners, and your first attack from surprise can't miss.
It's always an automatic success.
Yeah,
which is
that's
so exciting. I read that and I was like, oof. And then I realized I could take 2 foci, and I was like, I gotta take sniper and assassin. This is so exciting.
Cool.
Oh, I love games.
Okay.
Question about
Yeah.
taking 2 foci. Does everybody get a foci for free and then one from their class, or is it just you took soldier and then warrior?
Yeah, it's because I took soldier and then I took warrior. So you're also going to get 2 combat related foci.
Okay. That'll make things a little bit easier.
Does that mean I get 2 non-combat?
Wait,
foci?
I'm actually not
Where's-
seeing where you get from soldier. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, I didn't. I'm sorry. Soldier gives you 1 free combat skill, not focus. A combat skill being something like shoot or sneak. Oh, I feel so bad now. I've taken away one of your cool.
The happiness.
Oh,
But I read
Please-
through. Let me go back and check because I'm pretty sure
Please,
it
please
did let me
do.
take another one.
I don't
does the
feel like you're
system
wrong,
let
but
you
like,
take extra foci later on? If you
yes,
take
as part of leveling up, you're definitely going to be getting more and advancing your focuses.
Okay.
Okay. Because I was thinking Tinker does make sense for Loka, but the Wanderer kind of does too, like tips and tricks for helping out her vagabond existence,
Mm-hmm.
getting stuff for free from people and things.
I need a little bit of context from you before I make my decision on my foci.
Okay, yes. No, I see what Rachel's referring to. You get so the warrior gets a combat focus, and then the next step after choosing class is you also get a focus.
So I kind of because I already went through and did all my stuff. That's
Oh,
where I
okay,
came
so
in.
everybody will have 2 focuses.
Yes, either a level 2 focus or 2 level 1 focus.
Okay. So I need a little bit of context from you, Colin.
Okay.
Herc is supposed to kind of be a bit of a beefy boy. Like
Beefy
not
boy.
just strong, but like in Edge of the Empire, hey bud, stop. Your strength was also like your physical health, and that was kind of cool for me. Is 5 hit points a lot? Because that's what I have after rolling. It's 5 hit points.
Yeah, yes and no. Everyone is squishy. You're going to get more hit points as you level up, and you guys are not going to we're like starting at level 1, but we're also going to level up. I'm going to level you up to 2 after we're done making the characters. So I would suggest picking something like Die Hard, for example.
That was where I was having a little bit of trouble. I was like, do I go Die Hard or do I go Unarmed Combatant?
Yeah, you have 2. You could probably do both. And going to 7, I think I'm just going to scan ahead to look at the rough damage expressions of weapons, but my suspicion is that that'll push you outside of being one shot by a pistol. Yeah.
The other thing that I was looking at is Ironhide.
Okay. I don't have Ironhide in front of me, so tell me about it. Let's all together determine
Whether
if this is good.
whether through uncanny reflexes, you know what? Go back to go to March real fast. I'm gonna feed my dog so that way he calms down.
Okay.
Sure. So I'm looking between Starfare and Psychic.
Okay.
Starfare
Uh,
pilots. To not go actively.
Sure. Because you chose psychic as your class, one of your focus has to be a psychic focus.
So that's going to be Psychic.
You additionally are going to be getting, I think, 2 psychic skills, which are the actual things you can do. Sorry, I'm jumping back and forth between focuses and class. Let's take a look. Psychic. Here we go. So you can learn psychic disciplines and their associated techniques. You can choose any 2 psychic skills as a bonus. And then you have your effort score. Okay. Cool. So you actually don't get a bonus focus.
Yeah.
You can choose a psychic, what's called a, no, they are skills. Okay. Interesting. But you can obviously pick a focus. With your 1 focus, you can pick something that expands on your psychic abilities, like wild psychic talent.
That's okay. I'm good with Psychic. Psychic train.
Yeah, where is psychic training? Am I? Oh, there it is. Okay. So you get 2 psychic skills from choosing the psychic class, and then by choosing psychic training level 1, you get a 3rd one, and other stuff. Yeah. So is that what you're gonna choose, or are you gonna?
I think so.
Okay. Cool. And you have some pretty good basic proficiency in piloting, so it's not like you're a bad pilot. You're at this moment a competent pilot, and we can always push that up later because you're going to get an opportunity to add more skills and such. Cool. Any other questions or mechanical decisions that you're making that might be interesting? Okay. In that case, Skyra, what are you thinking for Loka? So you're going to get 1 non-combat focus from expert, and then you're also going to get another focus that can be anything.
Okay. So I was kind of torn between Tinker and Wanderer, and it would make sense to take 1 of each, except level 1 Wanderer is just about finding free transport places, and that's not very useful if we already have our own ship.
It's true. Survive as a bonus skill. Wanderer level 2 is similar. It is about traveling more than anything else.
Yeah, so maybe I will just take 2 levels of Tinker.
That's fair.
'Cause
nothing wrong with that. You could also choose specialist, which just gives you a bunch more skills. And it actually lets you choose a skill to be like extra special good at.
Huh.
Remember, I said you roll 2d6 for skill checks. If you choose specialist, then you get to nominate one of your skills as like your super special skill, and you roll 3d6 and take the 2 highest for that one.
Okay, so if I do that, something what's really good. I've already got like a bunch of points in fix, but I could be more in that, I guess. Because there's no skill specifically for make. That just falls under fix.
Yes. Tentatively, he says, quickly trying to get to the skill list again.
Like, I'm not sure what skill I would make my skill, because I already get fix as a bonus if I take Tinker.
I would
And I
let you
already have it
choose. There's
twice.
a catch-all skill called work. You could have work like mechanic or like starship mechanic and have that in addition to like fix. If you want to have both of them, I think that would probably cover both fixing stuff that's broken and making things wholesale.
Okay, that might be bigger then. Is I've already got, like, my fix is up to level 1 so far before I take my focus.
Nice.
And if I take Tinker, that's just going to be pumping even more into fix and not anywhere else.
Mm-hmm. True, and it's like, do you want to specialize out the gate, or do you want to like give yourself room to grow into that tinkering stuff?
Yeah, because I think there is definitely room for Loka to grow and get better at actually making and fixing things, because she does make a lot of stuff, but previously she was also very focused on just the general salvaging.
Yeah, keeping things running when you didn't technically have all the parts to do so.
Exactly.
Cool. So maybe dump into fix to start with an ambition that Loka is going to learn how to like make things from scratch, not from junk.
Yeah. So that should I just take, maybe if I take one tinker and one specialist though.
Yeah, that's a good compromise.
Yeah. And then I can move up in either.
Exactly.
Okay. Do that.
Cool.
No trouble.
They are listed separately from the normal skills.
Yeah, I know. I'm
so
looking for them.
they
20
are.
and
They're also listed on page 8. Yep. They are biopsionics, metapsionics, precognition, telekinesis, telepathy, and teleportation.
wait, that's the trouble I'm having. It's a skill, but it's so like also its own sort of mini as well.
The mini focus only impacts your psychic skills, though.
Yeah, I know. I'm not seeing an actual. I don't. I guess I don't understand the difference between making skill check. Is it just related to these? Like, is it what?
Yeah.
What
So,
does
like
this
for example,
mean?
yeah.
Help.
So, for example, if you describe that you want your character to read someone's mind,
Mhm.
I would make you roll a telepathy check.
I see.
See, and if you don't have any training, it means you're probably going to fail that check. If you, yeah. You get 2 from the fact that you chose the psychic class, and then you get a third one because you chose the psychic training focus.
But I can't do anything outside of my focus, or can't.
You can choose any of those psychic skills.
But I'm asking it goes to my.
Yes, that would be telekinesis. The telekinesis skill
Okay.
is about lifting burrito. It was actually developed for burritos.
I say this, I'm gonna trip
It
people.
was.
Okay. All right. So telepathy, telekinesis, and then I get a bonus one.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. So the 3 that I'm looking at.
We can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Nope. Still
What about-
can't.
What about now?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So the 3 that I'm looking at for my foci are Ironhide, Diehard, and Unarmed Combatant. And Ironhide is whether through uncanny reflexes, remarkable luck, engineered skin fibers, or subtle telekinetic shielding, you have natural defenses equivalent to high quality combat armor. The benefits of this focus don't stack with armor, though dexterity or shield modifiers apply. You have an innate armor class of 15 plus half your character level rounded up. And And then at level 2, your abilities are so effective they render you immune to unarmed attacks or primitive weaponry as if you wore powered armor.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So the Die Hard makes you tough to kill if they hit you. Ironhide makes you tough to hit and therefore tough to kill. That's kind of cool.
Would you consider either Die Hard or Ironhide a combat focus?
Yes.
So-
Because, for example, Ironhide, the mechanical aspect of it has absolutely no application outside of combat. So, because it's level 1 is armor, dealing with armor class, I'm gonna say that's combat.
Okay.
Combat focused.
Then I guess one final character creation context question.
Yep.
Do we get skill points at level 1 to level up skills, or is that later?
Later, you are going to get, after we've decided all the focus stuff, everyone's going to get to choose one skill to bump up. Any skill, combat, non-combat, anything. And that'll be just to represent your character's personal interests.
I just have one break.
Yeah, I was actually going to suggest a short
Awesome.
break.
As far as precognition goes, if I wanted a skill in that, how would you that?
Let me look at precognition.
Because, as a player, I guess I could kind of force it, but I'm wondering if it would be more of a passive.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Just gonna say real quick, I'm having trouble figuring out how to fit this into my character sheet. So it says for example, Tinker says gain fix is a bonus skill. Is that just the same as adding a level to the fix skill?
Yes, it is.
Then it says your maintenance score is doubled, but I can't find the spot on the character sheet that says anything about a maintenance score.
Yes, we will get to, just make note of that in the generic sort of notes section. I think there's a
yeah,
just add that and we'll figure out where to slot it in later. I believe it might end up being a resources thing, but don't worry too much about if there are things that you don't know what they're referencing. We'll figure out those later. Not necessarily it doesn't necessarily have to be right now during the stream.
okay.
So we're going to take a short break for humans to do human things. And when we come back, we'll continue with the recharacterization of the garbage crew. So.
Okay. Bye, everybody. Live. We're back. We're live. Yay.
We're back. And we're not garbage.
And we're
JK.
rolling hit points. I got a 5. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, 5 buddies.
Okay. Let's see here. That means I get 6 hit points. Good. Pretty good.
I already rolled mine for a grand total of 8 hit points, which is the max I could get. So nice. I'm very happy.
I'm pretty happy with 6. I'm kind of hardy. No?
I've got 8, but I had to do a lot more work to get there than Guess did.
Oh.
Yeah, no, I've got a total of 5. So I guess I'm the squishy one in the party, which makes sense.
So I'm saying this out loud on the stream so that way we can peer pressure Rachel to do this. But one of Rachel's foci in the future needs to be specialist, the shoot skill, because that with execution is going to be nasty. Nasty.
Sure.
I'm really happy with my hit point. Wow, what a trip this was. Ooh, first level.
Level 1. Level 1. Level 1.
Okay.
Here's a short but fun story. And it's called my first ever game of D&D. I had a ranger with 10 hit points. And I've gotten to combat. failed my first attack, natural one. The person who attacked me got a natural 20, and I went unconscious on the first hit I took.
Nice.
So that's my level 1 experience.
That's pretty cool.
I remember my first D&D experience. I thought I was playing a game of Lord of the Rings. So I too was playing a ranger,
Nice.
funny enough. And I was trying to do all this clever nonsense that 3rd edition just didn't allow. To the point that like we were on the run from some people that were trying to kidnap us and force us into servitude. And I was like, I had the final watch. So I was like, I'm going to let the party rest for an extra hour. And the DM was like, are you sure you want to do that? I was like, yeah, they need the rest. And it's like, there's no mechanical benefit to that. You're on the run. And it was like, I'm going to do it anyway. Long story short, we all got captured. I threw a sword at a window and everybody but Halfling died.
Wow, what a
Oh, wait.
story.
And then, oh wait, no, we were brought back to life after that, and then we went into limbo at level 2, and then everybody was on the ground bleeding, and the barbarian, as we were on the ground bleeding, killed us all, finished us off, took all our stuff, and left.
Oh, wow. Well, I started out in 4th edition because I was a late bloomer to the D&D party, and I played a monk, elven monk. Well, that's not the first character that I've played, but like, I don't know, it was like the first game that was a serious game. And I ended up nat 20ing on my first roll to punch a shambling mound, and that was pretty good.
That's pretty dang good.
Yeah, it was real good. I was so happy with it.
So
Yeah, my
I have
first
such
game was special.
oh, tell us
Yes.
everything.
Okay.
Sarah.
Okay, so I was playing with my fiance and some of our book club friends, and my level 1 gnome rogue got knocked unconscious in our first major battle.
Yes.
And my fiance was playing a big old paladin, so he picked up my unconscious gnome and stuffed her in his backpack to carry
Ugh.
her away from the battle.
Oh my god.
That's love right
Marcy,
there.
our cameras kind of went crazy when Colin left. I don't know if you want to just disable the
no.
overlay.
No,
or are we good
it's
like this?
probably fine. Gotta wait
Okay.
for him to come back is all.
Oh, okay.
I haven't had time to go through and create separate layers for
Well, okay. I just like that I am now half the bottom half of Marcy and the top half of Skyra.
Yeah, but all you
Like,
need to
that's
do if you want to go into Zoom, and then there's the stop video button, the camera. If you turn those off, you blink. Play. Oh, plant Oh, sealed with
well,
a
everybody was doing silly names, and I wanted one too.
Okay.
Oh,
I
you're
didn't
supposed to
see
do
that.
a pun name. You were supposed to do a pun
Oh.
name.
A pun name.
Yeah, nobody can
Oh,
see
no.
these,
I'm
but
gonna
they're pretty
need to
good.
do a pun name.
Yeah, we did a good job.
Yeah.
I didn't even
Well-
notice. Now I feel bad. I noticed Kess's. I didn't notice everyone else changing.
I hate to like admit to this on live television, but I'm actually really bad at puns.
Oh, there's Colin again. Oh,
Oh,
okay.
Colin's
Gotta-
back. Is that gonna change the overlay around?
Okay, you gotta.
Yeah, y'all
Switch
y'all
around.
can turn your
Can you hear me?
Yes.
yeah, y'all can turn your
Okay.
videos back on now.
That was
Okay.
bizarre.
I'm Herc now. Hi, everybody.
Hi, Herc.
Okay, hang on. I
You
want to hear
gotta
your
say it with
accent.
Hi,
the voice.
everybody. I
Hi,
can't do
I'm
the Herc
Cass.
voice. Sorry.
I'm Sniper Wife. I have a big, huge crush on a garbage lady who dresses super well.
Who wouldn't?
I mean, I've got a crush on Queen Rain, and we've seen her for 10 minutes.
She
Oh,
is
look
like
at me, I'm
super not
Colin.
interested in men.
Oh, thank goodness. That's good news for Cass.
It's yeah. Dash probably has stories about how the date went, and we'll get to that next time. Yeah, that was super weird. So I had my like audio driver apparently just decided to stop, and I was worried I was gonna have to reinstall it, but I just did a diagnostic and it says it's fine now. Yeah, stuff happens. It was really funny though. It literally happened when Marcy threw up her hands like this after the roll, and it just went into like a robot like, and then silence. I was like, oh
That's
god.
how good it was. That's how good my telekinesis is. I threw off the
So-
router.
Yes.
It's fine.
I'm
It's
gonna,
all good.
I'm
We
gonna
we
have to ask
recounted our
you-
first D&D stories, so
I'm-
it was fun.
Okay, so anything I need to know, I'll just go back and watch the VOD of this. It's fine.
Probably okay. Anyway, what do
Yes.
we need to do
What
next?
psionics?
Hmm.
So did a quick scan ahead, and here's how it works. Now McAfee wants me to do this nonsense. No, McAfee, get out of my way! And I lost my bookmark on the PDF.
It's
Life is hard.
searchable.
Yes, it is, which is really nice. Okay.
Just gonna be a second. I'll be still here though.
So I said that psionic stuff was like skills. That's not actually quite true.
Okay.
Broadly, they are. You level them up, but when you get like psychic, the biopsionics, that's the skill, and it has beneath it a bunch of what are called disciplines.
Yeah.
And these are the little quirks that help give you more granular idea of what your ability can do.
So I don't get individual ones for each one. I get to what I chose from.
So when you choose, for example, if you choose biopsionics and you bump it to level 0, right, you now have it, and you get to choose. You get everything listed under the core technique. Additionally, when you get it to 1, you get to choose one of the disciplines listed as level 1. So like mastered succor or organic purification protocols.
Yeah, I get that, I guess. I just don't understand what the skills or the term skills mean. Hard.
In this regard, if there is a role involved, you use the biopsionic skill level as in the same way as other skills.
I'm probably gonna have
Does that
to
make
no, but it's okay. I'm gonna look at it in depth
That's
because I don't quite get it, and it's gonna need.
that's fine. That's fine. Just generally, it's just like as your skill grows, you get a bunch of little tricks within it that you can also do.
I mean, I just don't understand how
yeah.
I get them or unlock them because it feels
When you-
like the skill is separate from the.
No, so you unlock disciplines the higher you push your skill.
Okay, so I could do all 3 skills to unlock 3 disciplines at 0.
You would, so for example, if you pushed biopsionics to level 2, right?
But that's fine. But how do I? What can we start at 0 first?
Yeah, yes. So your first unlock would bring it to 0, then it would go to 2. Then it would go to 1, then it would go to 2.
Okay.
Each time you push it up a level, you get a discipline within biopsionics.
I'm sorry, I'm still not getting it. I'll just have to look at it
Right.
later.
Fair enough. Okay. Okay. Where are we? I think we just finished focus.
Yeah, I'm gonna need help plugging that into my character sheet later, but I think we can move.
Yeah, that if it's just transcribing, just write the name of it, and I can probably do it for you if you don't want to.
Okay.
No
I'll just put
problem
it in
there.
case.
Actually has a system where you can add it in really easily, where
Yeah,
there's a drop down menu that you can choose from.
Yeah, I added the foci, but they do specific things that I'm not sure. Like your maintenance score is doubled, for example, and I have no do that on my character sheet. I don't know what they're talking about. I don't see anywhere that says maintenance score. Maybe I'm
Yeah.
missing it.
Let's see if I can answer that.
I might just put a note character sheet in the interest of being able more done.
Sorry, yeah. Yeah, that's not a problem. So now the next step is you all get to choose a single skill that represents sort of your personal interest and bump that up by 1.
Okay, so I need your help just kind of choosing between one of 2 skills for Herc, because I'd like to hear your guys' opinion. I'm debating between either exert or notice. Notice would be more like his years working as like a bounty hunter, like learning to spot a face in the crowd. Whereas like exert would just be like literally because he's large and he runs after people and can lift things and is strong. I'm not sure which one fits him better for the bonus skill.
I would suggest exert because I put my bonus skill in notice, and otherwise our character
Yeah.
sheets are going to end up looking very much the same.
I did a notice skill too because I figured Luca's really good at noticing that are good for scrap.
Okay.
Well, that might be actually a no skill, don't you think?
What? No.
Yeah.
Okay. The
Because notice is
more
like
one of the other background things.
let me go to the skills.
Yeah. Notice
So
specifically people.
so I actually have an answer to your maintenance question, Skyra.
Okay.
And this will, when we get into equipment, there is a system for modifying it. There are things called mods. These are things that are they're gear, they're ship parts, they're all sorts of stuff. The important part is a technician has a maintenance score. If you take the fix skill, then you have a maintenance score. That represents how many mods can be active without cutting into your like overtime. Basically, it's a way to like say you only have so much time in your life, in your day, in your work hours to keep all of this running. So if you load yourself up with all these mods, well, they need constant attention, and it's going to require you like to sort of choose what stuff you're not taking care of.
I see.
And it's pretty simple, and that's about it. It just like anything past your maintenance score, it after like 24 hours without maintenance, it just stops working. So you can take and install these mods, but you'll constantly have to go back and fix them if you're overexerting yourself.
Yeah. Is there somewhere to put that on the character sheet though, or is that just something I have to remember?
Make note of it in some generic workspace, and then I think it should be included with the what just happened? Now Roll20 is being weird at me. Just put it in like a notes section, and I'll figure out where it fits more properly. Don't stress about it. There's a simple calculation to see how many mods and what your maintenance score is.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's going to be a huge deal. Okay. Okay, we're almost done with like the basic character generation stuff. Let's double check, make sure we're not missing anything. Oh, no, we got another page. Oops. Marcy, make note of your effort. The score is equal to 1 plus your highest psychic skill plus the better of your wisdom or constitution modifier.
Okay.
Everyone has done hit points, I believe.
Yep.
Attack bonus. Warriors, you get a +1 attack bonus. Everyone else gets +0. Equipment packages.
Out of curiosity, Where does the attack bonus go on the character sheet?
Top
Mm.
leftish core statistics.
There we go. That's why it was being
It should already be in there once you add in your warrior class ability.
Okay,
Yep.
I see now.
Yep. It does a lot of stuff for you, which is nice.
Thank goodness, because I'm bad at math.
Yeah. Back in the time, we had to fill out all the character sheets by hand, and there was differential equations in there.
If you couldn't hit armor class 0.
Gonna have to plus 0.
No.
I don't know what that means.
Thaco is from AD&D. It's a very overly complicated armor class system that like most people just don't understand.
So.
Yeah, my home game that we're playing, we just replaced a player with a dude that's like in his mid-50s, and he's telling us all about the like back in the old days.
So
But we're playing on 5e, and he's never done 5e.
that's funny. If you thought Thaco is bad, the original, like before it was even really D&D, they had weapon charts, which were, imagine if you had a specific scaling like to hit number, depending on both what weapon you're using and what kind of armor they're wearing. So you constantly were asking, what are they like? What armor are they wearing? Is it plate? Is it mail? Is it? It was.
Look, chainmail was a proto war game before wargaming really became a thing. Oh, what a bunch of fucking nerds.
But so actually, first edition did use Thaco indirectly. It did this. It did what's called a true 20 variant. I know you guys don't particularly care about this, but like I said, I love the histograph of D&D. Instead of rolling a d20 plus your attack modifier against their armor class, you would roll 1d20 plus your attack modifier plus their armor bonus. Try to get 20 or higher. Mathematically, they were the same thing. The math that works out exactly the same, was just a different way to calculate it. I kind of have a fondness for like true 20, but like no one else does, and everyone tells me I'm crazy for it. But
it's hurting my brain a little bit with this. I don't understand. I feel like a villager in a medieval town. I just want to light everything on fire and grab a pitchfork.
That's fair.
I don't know how to read.
All right.
I'm here with your books and your words.
Which? All right. Let's talk equipment packages. They make this really easy. Depending on what background you chose, you get a whole thing of equipment. Page 25. Both of our soldiers get the same background package. You get a combat rifle that does 1d12 damage. You get woven body armor that's AC 15. You get a knife. You get a comm pad, a backpack, 100 credits, and 80 rounds of ammo.
Right.
So I was curious if this is where we would end up differing from like standard character building.
Yes.
Because I really liked my sniper rifle.
I know you do. The short answer is yes, we will, but not on stream. I'm actually going to homebrew some stuff for you.
Okay.
Specifically, I'm going to give you a scout rifle, like a DMR. The sniper rifle, I might just give you a sniper rifle, but we'll see. But that's not super interesting for the audience to see, so we're not going to spend time on it.
So just straight up take the basic package.
Take the listed package, and we will discuss modifying the package.
All right. Modify that.
As I say, because this package doesn't make a ton of sense for her. So
yeah, that's fine. We will swap and make it make sense. Technician for Loka.
Yes.
You get a laser pistol with 4 reloads. You get an armored undersuit that's AC 13. You get a mono blade knife that does D6 damage. You get a toolkit, 6 units of spare parts, a backpack, a data slab, a meta tool, and 200 credits.
What all of that is, but it sounds cool.
Doesn't it? I definitely know what it is because I'm the DM and that's like my job to know, and I'm definitely just making it up. Not making it up.
It is, so hey.
Well, and finally we get a pilot. Where is the pilot?
Get one. And that's okay. I'll just mooch off of other people doing.
Yeah, looking at it, I don't see a pilot
Pilots.
equipment package.
That's okay.
Interesting. Yeah. So you can just take one of whichever one makes most sense for you. Or you can also just get you can roll for money as well. Okay. Or nothing. You get nothing.
Oh no.
Good day, sir.
I'll take the civilian stuff, thank you. No. See.
But we can honestly, like I said, we will modify so don't feel like anything you pick is going to be like super hampering.
I like the blade stuff. That looks cool. I mean, I'm really good at shooting, but I guess a sword would be cool too.
Just shoot him with your sword.
I'm gonna shoot the swords at people.
Look, we all know that this is actually just Colin inserting Final Fantasy VIII into the Star Wars universe.
Do I want to lose a bunch of viewers? I've never played any Final Fantasy game.
Neither have I.
Neither have I.
Good.
I've only played 30 minutes of
I'll see how much stuff is worth. So I might take the blade and then trade out a couple of things for a laser pistol. That sounds good.
That works for me.
Because I do want to sword. Bad.
Yeah, that works for me. That's fine. I'm okay with that. Doop de doop doop.
Kind of not Jedi would I be?
You know, the more I'm looking at the soldier stuff, the more I'm thinking, you know what, this makes total sense for her. He would, because I had a blaster rifle, and I was like, but it had a stun setting in the other game. But in reality, the whole point of the rifle was to look intimidating. So, like, I think he would totally have the soldier equipment. He just doesn't know how to use a combat rifle effectively.
I'm pretty sure the safety's off.
Look, Ash, I know how to use a combat rifle. I'm trained in it. Look at me. The safety, the red button that shows the safety, that's showing. That means it's off. Red is for kill, which I'm about to do.
I love the idea that Herc eventually just has Loka fill the gun with concrete to use as a club.
Oh god.
So it's like the same damage die because it's just a really heavy gun.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's really good at knocking people out.
So so you've got it auto calculates a lot for the sheet. The Roll20 sheet we're using auto calculates a lot for you. But for sake of you knowing, when you make an attack roll, you do 1d20 plus your punch, stab, or shoot skill, depending on the weapon you're using. And the damage is the listed damage, like d12, d8, d6, plus the attribute. If it's, in close combat, it's strength. If it's ranged, it's dexterity. Similarly, if you have no armor, usually your armor sets your AC. If you're not wearing armor, it's 10 plus your dexterity modifier. But that's pretty standard. Final thing listed here is going to be saving throws. These are things when the environment, when unexpected situations arise, poison, the weather, like a falling train, that might not happen to you. It'll be fine. you're going to be rolling against these. They are like an AC that you want to hit. All of them start at 15 minus your modifier, the best of one of two modifiers. So for physical, your physical saving throw starts at 15 minus your strength or constitution modifier, whichever is higher.
It's not both?
Not both. It's
Well, then
whichever.
why is my physical save 11?
Let me look at your sheet. That should not be happening.
Yeah. Do we need to change? Shouldn't need to change saving throws?
Yeah.
Mine automatically calculated mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine. I don't know how to actually change the saving throw, so.
Yeah, me neither. That's very interesting, and I don't know why that is. I will look into that. Oh. I'm looking at your modifier is listed as +4 for strength.
I don't know why that is. Oh, wait, hang on. Oh, I think I know what I did. Okay, I thought the bonus was where you put in your modifier, and I did not realize the modifiers were calculating automatically.
Yep, that is important to notice. The bonus is in like your base. Yep, that would work. That makes sense.
I was a dumb.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, that looks much better. So sorry. So your physical, and this is to withstand weather. This is to withstand disease and poison, things that are affecting your body, is going to be 15 minus the best of your strength or constitution modifiers. Evasion is the same thing, 15 minus the best of intelligence or dexterity modifiers. And that's to avoid something, a falling item, a swinging trap, to sidestep a gross date that you don't want to see and is blocking the door. Mental saves are to resist psychological trauma, psychic influence, mind-bending technology, and that key is also 15 minus the best of your wisdom or charisma modifiers. All right. And that's mostly it. That's actually it for the stars without numbers mechanics. You should now have, with some small exceptions and some clarifications here and there, you should have a functional character we could start playing immediately, even though we're not going to, which is disappointing, but we're taking it simple and easy to transition to the new system. We're not done yet, though, because I am going to add in my own thing. This is not a stars without number mechanic. It's something I'm creating for a homebrew system that I am writing. And I think it's going to be very useful here. And it's about relationships, about your relationship to organizations, to people, to ideologies. It's a way for us to sort of define how one's allegiance or notorious demeanor affect their day to day. So each of you is going to write down for me in the character notes, wherever that is on your character sheet, 2 relationships that you have. Like I said, it could be a relationship to a person. It could be to an organization, could be to a political entity, right? Could be to a criminal enterprise. It could be to a life philosophy. If you're a pacifist, that could be a relationship you have. You're going to, in parentheticals next to it, tell me what that disposition is. What does the other side think of you? So, for example, you could have, what's the constable's name? Jatek, right? You have a relationship with Jatek. Are you an ally? Friendly? Are they neutral or ambivalent about you? Are you unfriendly? Are you an enemy? those 5 dispositions are going to be universal. If someone's your enemy, they go out of their way to inconvenience you. If they're ally, they'll go out of their way to help you. If they're friendly, they'll assume the best about you, so assume good intentions, good faith. They may not inconvenience themselves to help you, but they'll be there if you ask, probably. If they're neutral or ambivalent, it means maybe they don't know what to think about you. Maybe you are on their radar, but they haven't figured you out. So sort of decide what that is. And we'll go around and maybe workshop what the different relationships your characters have, which ones are important and affect their lives. Let's start. Why don't we start with I'm actually going to post it in the Discord for you to reference because
Excellent.
yeah, it is. I just did do the verbal equivalent of a wall of text.
Yeah. I was like trying to take notes, but it's like flashbacks to in school, and I'm just like missing.
No.
See,
notes.
as a current
Words.
student, I was just like, I know exactly what he's saying.
Yeah.
This is my everyday.
Okay. Actually, why don't we start with you, Loka, then, so we can talk through it bit by bit. First, who are 2 NPCs or organizations that you want your character to have a relationship with?
I know at the beginning, rolled up our characters. I had a friend who was like a mechanic who was actually good at mechanics, and they would like hang out at the bar and fix stuff, but we never actually got to meet her in the game.
Yeah, that was. I remember that.
We named her like
I wrote.
Mira or something from one of Kessa's games.
Yeah, Mira Delacroix.
Yeah.
There she is. Yeah, Mira Delacroix. Okay.
That's right. Katie came in and just lost everything.
Freaking Delacroix.
Okay. So Mira Delacroix is a character you want a relationship with. Do you want them to be an ally, just a friend? Do you want them to have like conflicted feelings about you, or just like ambivalent in general?
I mean, thinking that we were like friends and we hang out at the pub and talk shop, but also that Loco would learn things from her a bit also.
Okay. It sounds like an ally to me. That's someone
Okay.
who's like going out of the way. So make note, Mira Delacroix, parenthetical, ally. And what's another? Everyone's going to have 2.
Let me see. I mean, I know Odo is a huge part of Loca's life. She's been with the company since her like teenage years. So
Okay.
given that she probably has some sort of relationship with Maggie, but I feel like it's kind of like Maggie's that weird aunt that you don't necessarily like, but she's still family. So
That sounds like, to Maggie, ambivalent,
all right.
right? That's someone you have strong feelings both for and against.
Yeah. Yeah, like, oh, there goes Maggie with her doing her
Yeah.
ex, but
She-
at the same time, like,
She
she's
bailed me out of.
family, and absolutely, they've been through together, and Loco would absolutely stand up for her.
She paid my rent once, but now she comes over whenever she wants.
You can't have house guests if you live in it.
Yeah. And there we go. And now we'll just roll 1d4 for each of those. And just whatever number you rolled, put that in there.
All right.
And I'll explain in more depth later. We're sort of running out of steam. We're coming up at the end of the session. So I don't want to hold people here hostage as we go through this. But everyone's going to do what I just did with Skyra. Everyone's going to do that either on stream or we'll take care of it afterwards if you want to talk things out with me. But you're going to define 2 relationships, people, organizations. You're going to decide what they think of you. And then that last part is how strongly or how actively they feel that.
Okay, that actually works. I rolled kind of low, but I feel like that's actually okay given.
Yeah. All right. And actually, yeah, let's actually end there. Next session, I'll explain in more detail what this mechanic actually does. It's not complicated. All it does is sort of like you roll 1d10, and if you score equal or lower than the degree, the number you have there, it impacts the scene. That's it. It's just a little way to be like, oh, doesn't matter that I'm friends with Myra. Like if you're talking to Myra's rival, it might matter.
Yeah.
So, any final questions or things you guys want to take care of before we call it for the night? How do we feel about Stars Without Number?
I'm tired. I'm still confused, but I like it.
I was.
Yeah,
I think I'm gonna like.
I think I'm gonna like it a lot looking at it, even though it's so different from like everything I've ever played before.
It's like halfway between Powered by the Apocalypse and D&D.
Yeah.
Which I was gonna say, which sounds weird, seeing as like it's like a rip from old school D&D, but I've never played anything earlier than third. I would be more ecstatic about it, but I'm sick. So.
Oh yeah, you're like super chill, and I'm like, oh man, Snails is really relaxed right now, and then I realize, oh no, he's really sick.
Yeah,
Probably all the
poor
Dayquil.
Just
Oh,
then moment. Right there.
yeah.
Awesome.
My bones hurt.
Oh no.
Oh.
All right. Let's let our favorite plant whale rest their cartilage bones.
Get to bed,
Let's
yo.
let our purple herc get some bone rest.
We're gonna shut down now, everybody.
All right. Good night.
Night.